Last year, Suzuki announced two new models, the DL800 Adventure Machine and the naked GSX-8R. Both featured a new 800cc twin that we rather liked, and it seemed that Suzuki is going to milk this new thing, which is why we now have this, the new 179,000 GSX-8R.
So largely this bike is the same as the DL800 and the 8S. Largely, as in like 90% of it. The really big difference is that it's got a big fairing. That makes it a sports bike. Oh yeah.
That's right, this is the sporty version of the 800. But the main questions are, does Suzuki need a sports bike? And is this really a sports bike? Well, we start again by pointing out that this bike is mostly the same as the others.
Now it's got exactly the same switches, which is a good thing because they're neat, they're pretty, they look good. It's got the same dash, which is simple, straightforward, classy, and just overall looks good. And there's nice little designs and nice little everything, bit of effort put in, which is lovely.
You might think that the sports model, has a souped up version of the motor, but no, Suzuki uses exactly the same motor, which is actually a 776cc parallel twin that pushes 83 horsepower and 78 Nm of torque. And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Now this is not a motor that would kind of blow your head off. This is not going to scare your socks, it's not going to light your bum on fire. But it's enough to be fun, which is great. You open the throttle and whoop, there we go, stuff happens. Forwardness occurs. You go in a forwardly direction to quite a nice soundtrack. And that's sort of what you want.
Part of that soundtrack is the irregular firing order caused by a 270-degree crank. This is designed to give the motor more of a V-twin feel and sound, while still having the compact and easy to build qualities of a parallel twin. It's sort of the best of both worlds.
What's also nice thing about bikes like this one is you're riding it, it's not riding you. Now, there's something to be scared about having the width scared off of you with a fast motorcycle, but it's also nice to kind of feel in control.
Of course though, the 8R has the small size of the 8S, but with the fairing. And surely that has some sort of an effect.
The fairing definitely makes a difference. I know on the 8S, the naked one, and the DL, the adventure bike, you can cruise at around 160, but it is a bit of an effort. Whereas on this thing, obviously the fairing's more aerodynamic, it is a bit easier. Top speed somewhere around 230 kilometers an hour, and I think it is going to be limited by the rev limiter in top gear, which is rather interesting. But it is, so it's not like super speed, super speed freak, super everything. You can, it's fast enough to get yourself in trouble, that's for sure.
Also, the naked 8S has a tendency to get a little shaky in the bars. And it would seem that bolting on a fairing does add an element of stability, and that's good too. However, beyond the fairing, once again, everything is the same. And again, that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Now the seating position of this thing, although it's kind of sports bike, R is generally kind of racy, but the seating position is quite similar to the 8S, so your handlebars are not, down low like this, they are quite high up. There's quite a lot of red room, seat's pretty comfortable, and all this fairing work definitely makes a difference. There is less gust than on the 8S. And we rode it from Joburg to Nelspruit, 4 hours of ride, 4 hours with stops and stuffing around, and it was fine. I mean, really, you felt nothing, felt great. Could have done it for the rest of the day.
We would love to do that all day, except this bike has a fuel tank capacity of 14 litres. That will do 200 kilometers if you ride like an idiot, and close to 300 kilometers if you're a mature adult. The wet weight of this machine is 205 kilograms, which is an okay number, but it also has a relatively small spinning mass and a compact design, so it feels much lighter than the 205. Quite a bit lighter, in fact.
One thing about this bike, it is so light. It feels like nothing. It tips in like nothing. You go into a corner, tip in. It brims with you feel brimmed with confidence. It's it's a lot of fun.
The frame is steel, which seems to be the new norm after years of the Japanese swearing by aluminium. However, especially for road bikes, the steel supposedly offers a combination of both stability and agility. And then we can't really argue with that because there were no problems in either of those areas. What could be put into question though is the Showa suspension.
Now the suspension isn't the most sophisticated. I mean, there's no clickers to turn and things like that, but I mean, really, if you're in this sort of class of bike, you're not really interested in that kind of stuff, but it does work. What I will say is that if you were to ride around a racetrack trying to break Grand Lap records, maybe you'll overwhelm it, maybe you'll feel its limits, but even on roads like this, when tilting it, you won't really. Now, the front is kind of stiff, you know, you can feel stuff through it, it's not bottoming out or anything. The rear is quite soft. And that's good and bad. Good because it's nice and plush when you're riding around on sort of ordinary bumpy roads. It is comfortable. When you do start tilting through corners, it can get a little bit overwhelmed. It can start bottoming a little bit. But you know what? If you're buying this thing as a road bike, I'd rather have the plushiness.
And this leads us to our original questions. Does Suzuki need a sport bike version of this bike, considering that what we have here is a naked 8S with some clothes on? Well, yes, but that is an oversimplification. The fairing means it can hold faster speeds better, while being more comfortable and more stable than its naked counterpart. Look, I'm a fan of naked bikes. They represent a mischievousness that nothing with a fairing can match. But in this case, it's hard to argue with the upsides. And we need to ask, is this really a sports bike? Given that it's comfortable, quite simple, and not necessarily that fast. But this bike has other qualities that work in its favor, starting with the important one.
You know what I love about bikes like these is that in a world where you're not going to get a proper sports bike for less than 300,000 Rand, here this thing is for 170. I mean, I kind of miss the 300 kilometers per hour sort of stuff, but this is still fun. It's so much fun. And it's fun for me. I've been riding my whole life, raced for 26 years. And it'll be fun for somebody who's new, who's just starting motorcycles. It's one of those all-rounders. It's fun for everybody. It's also quite fun on your wallet, which is, well, nowadays that's very important. I like being fun on my wallet. I wish more stuff was fun on my wallet. Suzuki's good at being fun on your wallet.